This week on the Coaching Corner, we're going to follow up with our segment of last week, which was characters, building characters. So we need to have a come to Jesus meeting.
Hallelujah!
Say, brothers and sisters, let me tell you something. I sent out a breakdown last week for one of our characters in Fatal Crossroads that I, of course, have written and directed and produced. And I got to be honest with you. Half of them that I received from New York and L.A., half of them were, you can see the effort that was made by the actors that were involved. I had them do a self-tape rather than to come in. You know, fly in and out of New York. From New York, I'm here, Southern California, amongst the palm trees and the fruits and nuts. And they're in New York, freezing their fannies off, so, you know, it's hard to bring them out here, et cetera, et cetera. The self-tape is, to me, just as good because you can see whether someone's a good actor or not. But if you're not prepared, if you come and step in front of that camera to do your self-tape, I mean, some people didn't even have a person off the camera reading the lines with them. They were doing both lines and they would change their voice. So the first line was, come to breakfast with me. The other line was, oh no, I couldn't do that. So they were doing both voices. I'm like, what? Who taught these people anything? Then the other half were terrific, and I want to thank all of them, good, bad, or indifferent, for the effort they made in making the submission and taking the time. But guys, you got to prepare. Okay, the follow-up to last week about building characters, the number one mistake that I think most actors make, I would guess, of all the self-tapes that come in, 95% of them were acting the script. They were acting the words. They were acting their concept of the character. And I even said in the breakdown, don't try to create your idea of who you think this character is. Just be yourself. Because you understand, if you're just going to be yourself, you never have to think again what character you did for the audition. And how do you do that? That's hard to keep up with. But if you're using yourself, it's always you, right? Let me explain how it works when it comes to characters. And again, I'm going back, I'm being a little redundant of last segment, but it's very important you understand this. As a writer, when I'm writing the dialogue, I know who this character is. In this case, the character is Elka in Fatal Crossroads. And I know how she looks, I know how she speaks, and what we're really doing as casting is going out there and looking for that particular actor that fits closest to what the writer has in mind for that character. So the way they talk, their personality, their look, we're looking for those people that fit what we already had in mind. So along comes those actors who are trained to become other people and to build characters and a history for someone that doesn't exist. What they're doing now is creating their own idea of what that person should be like in spite of the fact that the writer doesn't want that character. So they're creating a whole nother image and personality against what the producers actually want. And that's what you're going to use, regardless of what you created when you wrote the script. This stuff pisses me off because it's a form of arrogance. Well, I was trained to do this, I don't care what you were trained to do. Use some common sense. Hey, you got to read my new book, Common Sense Acting. You know what it's about? Using common sense. Think about what you're doing. Are you really becoming other people? How do you become other people? It's impossible to become someone you're not. And then actors say, well, I'll build a whole history for this person. What about your history? You don't have any history? You didn't go to school? You weren't born? You didn't have a family? Who are you going to have Thanksgiving with? Who did you have Thanksgiving with? Think about this stuff. That's your history. Am I going to be truthful in the character that I am, in me? Am I going to use my own history, my own emotions, my own feelings? So when you get in this region in here as a film actor, your work becomes all about feelings and behavior, not acting. It has nothing to do with acting because now the camera is so close to you. The audience is sitting on your lap. They can see everything you're doing. It's not like the theater in that regard. And next segment, we're going to talk about what you see in the theater as an audience compared to what you see in film and television. So the whole idea here is that if you bring in a truthful person, not characters, a truthful person, you, because you've already got that, you've already got your history, and you bring that, now you made the character stronger, it has depth in definition, because you have your own impulses and emotions and behavior, right? Now that's what I'm talking about. Hope you learned something. Always be yourself. I preach it to you all the time, guys. It's the best thing you've got. Hey, listen, we'll see you next time on the Coaching Corner. We're going to talk a little bit about what the viewer sees when it comes to the theater as opposed to film. See you next time here on the Coaching Corner. Bye.